Let's go for translation number 5 now, and I think you'll find this easier than the last one. Here it is. Every day I work for 8 hours. I'm lucky because I like my job very much and the people there are very friendly. We are almost like a family. After work it takes me 30 minutes more or less to arrive home and I can spend time with my 2 children before dinner. So let's start to translate this now. First of all, we have every day, which we know is cada dia. And then a verb, I work. So once again, you just manipulate the verb. Trabajar would be to work, and so trabajo would be I work. Now we have for 8 hours. So we have to decide, is this por or is this para? Well, this is going to be por because we're referring to a duration of time. So it's going to be por and then 8 horas. Next up, we have I'm lucky, and we need to decide if this is going to be ser or estar. Now, reading the context of the sentence, I'm lucky because I like my job. So I'm not saying that I was lucky this morning, or I was lucky yesterday, or I was lucky in some moment in time. I'm referring to a general sense that I'm lucky because I like my job very much. So for that reason, I would kind of go with the more permanent thing of soy. Now, lucky, let's check this because I have a feeling that Google could throw us into an error here. So it's translating lucky as suerte. Now, that is true, but we would only use suerte with tener. For example, tengo suerte. I have luck, meaning I am lucky. But because we're using soy, the correct one is actually this one, afortunado. You can see it means lucky. Because we're using soy, this is the right one. If you said soy suerte, it would sound really horrible to a native Spanish speaker. So this is the correct one here, afortunado, like fortunate. Okay, so it would be... And because I'm a male saying this about myself, I'm ending it in o, soy afortunado. But if you're a female saying it about yourself, you would feminize the word and change it into an a. So let's just do like this, where it could be afortunado or afortunada. Then we have because I like my job. Let's try to do that all in one go. So because would be porque. And then I like is a handle, right? Me gusta. And then we have my job, mi trabajo. This is a word that we've come across before. Then we have very much, mucho. And the people. So, and the people there, let's do all of that. Would be y la gente, there, allí, right? And the people there are very friendly. We have to be a little bit careful here. Even though we're talking about people, which immediately in English makes us think of plural, the word for people in Spanish is singular because we have la gente. So therefore, this R is actually S, which sounds or feels very strange to us in English, but it's correct in Spanish grammar. Because we're referring, it's like, I like my job very much. And the people there, es instead of son. You might be tempted to say son, they are, but because we're referring to something singular, a singular word there, it's not plural in Spanish, therefore it's correct to say es and not son. So we have very friendly, and there's a number of different words, like a whole handful of them that you could use for friendly, but we'll go with muy simpática. I ended it in a because we're talking to or referring to a feminine word, la gente, and I also kept it singular, not simpáticas, because again, la gente is a singular word, right? It's not plural in Spanish. So let's just go back and check this word for nice so you can see that we're given a variety of things. Okay, if you look down here, agradable, amable, lindo, simpático, they would all work for saying that the people that you work with are nice or are friendly. You can almost take your choice there. Next up, we have we are almost like a family. We have a we are here, so we need to decide ser or estar. To me, this is talking about identity. The identity of a group is that they feel very close to our family, right? We're not talking about some mood or emotion that they're going through or some location where they are. We're saying something about the identity of this group of people at work, that they're very close, like a family. So that pushes me into somos for we are. And then the word for almost is going to be casi. It's part of our superglue. And then like would be como. A family would be una familia, right? Now we just have a little issue here with the word order, because this is the correct or natural word order in English, but in Spanish they would throw this word up front. So we're going to change it a bit here. To casi somos como una familia. Literally, almost we are like a family. I'm sure you notice how Spanish does that a lot, where words that we throw in the middle or at the end in English, in Spanish they throw them way up front. So that would be a more natural sounding word order for Spanish to say that. Next we have after work, it takes me 30 minutes more or less to arrive home. So after is después and work is trabajo. So let's just put that in first. Después and trabajo. But we need to throw in después, like after is like this, después de. And we're talking about trabajo, which is el trabajo, right? The noun, it's a masculine word. And Spanish contracts that like this. So it'll be después del trabajo. Let's see if Google agrees with us or not, just out of curiosity. After work, después del trabajo. Notice I forgot my accent there over the E. So let's put that in. Después del trabajo. It takes me. So the verb to take is tomar. So me toma. It takes. Then we have 30 minutes. That would be 30 minutos. So it's very close to English, right? And then more or less is, again, literally be más for more, o for or, and then menos, más o menos, more or less. To arrive home is implying in order to arrive home. So we throw in para, and then to arrive is llegar a casa. So we have después del trabajo me toma 30 minutos más o menos para llegar a casa. To arrive home, a casa. And I can spend time. Well, let's just do this bit here. So we have y, and I can is puedo. Spend time we know is to pass time. We had that in another example. So to pass is pasar and tiempo. With my 2 children. So that would be con mis 2 niños. Before dinner, it's going to be antes de la cena. Before is antes de la cena. And this is a nice example here, because if you look here, we have after work, después de, and then this gets contracted, el trabajo, right? And same thing is happening here, before dinner, antes de. Because it's a feminine word here, we don't contract it, la cena. But for example, if we had after dinner, it would be después de la cena. Before dinner, antes de la cena. So we have después de and antes de. You can see how we have a mirror image here. One is, okay, after, and this one is before, but the structure remains exactly the same. The only reason it looks a little bit different is because here we're using a masculine word. So we contract this después del trabajo, whereas here's a feminine word, so we don't contract it, antes de la cena. So we have our complete translation here. Cada día trabajo por 8 horas. Soy afortunado porque me gusta mi trabajo mucho y la gente allí es muy simpática. Casi somos como una familia. Después del trabajo me toma 30 minutos más o menos para llegar a casa. And this one should be E, right, with a Y. Y puedo pasar tiempo con mis 2 niños antes de la cena.